This review contains spoilers.
I was born 400 years ago in the Highlands of Scotland. I am immortal, and I am not alone. Now is the time of the gathering, and the stroke of a sword will release the power of the quickening. In the end, there can be only one.
The episode starts with people killing two policemen in a forest. Tessa is driving to this forest and goes hiking. While she makes photos and writes stuff down, she gets kidnapped by the people from the beginning. Duncan was away, and as he comes back, Richie tells Duncan where Tessa is. He follows her just in case. Duncan saves her, kills the bad guy, and leaves with her. So let's jump into the review, shall we?
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe.
I kind of liked this episode. It was not a good episode, but an okayish one. The dynamic between the three characters is good and I like the premise. Immortal bad guy kidnaps Tessa because he wants to marry her. And with marry, I guess, just live together, since he will not do the ritual of getting married. I just call it ritual because the correct word doesn't come to my mind. And if this is in the review, then it never did. Anyways, Tessa leaves some breadcrumbs for Duncan behind so he can find her tracks easier, which we see 2 times. This isn't really necessary to show us, since they show us how Duncan tracks them, but it is a nice little detail and makes Tessa a bit helpful. We also get a flashback to the time after when Duncan was living with the Native Americans, but I'm not sure. The clothes Carl is wearing makes it not that easy to identify the era. It would really help a lot to have at least the year written in the flashback. I'm curious when it comes to the plotline with the Native Americans since episode 1. He wanted to stay away from the immortal stuff after he lost everything. So I guess the person who killed all the natives and Duncan's wife was an immortal. I'm just hoping for more when it comes to this plotline. When Tessa talks with this guy, we learn that the other young man is adopted, and if we paid attention, then we had our first hint of the immortal bad guy being immortal. Immortal bad guy sends his son away to find the bad guy. He tells her after they are alone that he will win her over. After she replies with "this will never happen," he adds, "in time, you always forget him." That was our second hint to find out on our own that he's an immortal. And I like this because we could find it out before the show told us this information. So it makes us like little itsy bitsy tiny detectives. So Duncan catches the bad guy's son and his sword is on the bad guy's son's throat. He gets also caught by bad guy, and when Duncan takes away his sword, bad guy's son has a cut on his throat. It is just a little detail, again, which is also great to have. I wouldn't have noticed it, to be honest. They bring him to the place where the sun doesn't shine. That's not me saying, that's bad guy saying. Duncan jumps before he gets shot and the two go back to the camp. Back at the camp, immortal bad guy sees the sword and we know that he's an immortal because he has his own weapon for beheading, and Tessa tells us this too. Duncan wakes up from being dead and we have, like in the previous episode, sounds of bone cracking and healing. And even though he is immortal, Duncan looks as he is in a hell of pain. So it is not the best idea to kill yourself like this. I also wonder how long it takes to come back. Are they physically dead? If we think of the episode with Felicia, the female immortal, then it has to be that way because she was in an ambulance and then in the hospital morgue. That wouldn't have been the case if she wouldn't have had life signs. Then we get a slow motion running scene for the ladies, like in Baywatch. And then he ruins his shirt for arm protection and eats some berries. I guess they try to do a Duncan gets one with the nature thing, which is fine. But the berry eating scene makes him look nervous. I would rather prefer that he's calm because he's the hunter and they are his bounty. His prey. Not bounty, prey. Birds of Prey was a shitty movie. Tessa can in the end and at the end convince immortal bad guy that bad guy may have killed bad guy's son. How can this work? He felt Duncan there where his son vanished. That makes not a lot of sense to me. So Duncan fights immortal bad guy and kills him. He buries him and the police/sheriff finds them. The sheriff asks Duncan who is buried here and he says immortal bad guy. I mean, he doesn't say immortal bad guy but his name. He just lets Duncan go even though he killed a person. I mean, it was a bad guy, but it is still murder. But anyways, Tessa sees the lightning show the first time, I guess. My question is now, is it more painful when you are standing in water? Because electricity? Does this make sense? I didn't notice it the first time, but the water reacts to the lightning show. So also a very nice detail. So this was my review of episode 7. What did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching. Have a nice one. You take care. See ya.
He's running.
Running?
Running. You're the most amazing son of a bitch I've seen in all my years. You know that?